Alright boys and girls, it is your boy Ryan Thomas from Failtech here, and today I'm going to be doing an owning a Samsung Galaxy Ace in 2016. Now this phone was never really a flagship and it was always aimed towards the lower end of the market and for the consumers, you know, the kids who wanted their first smartphone. And it's still around today, and I've got one. Now I'm going to tell you some of the good things about this, some of the bad things about this. I mean, if you want a backup phone or if you just want a simple phone to make phone calls and text on, then I will tell you about this. But that kind of gives away the fact that it might not be as good as it once was. Okay, so the first thing to mention is I've only been able to get it to connect to the Google services once, and that is through my friend Rob, who was here only within the last 2 hours, and he managed to connect it. I've not managed to connect to any of my accounts via this. It also asked you if you want to make a new account, so I thought make a new account. Does not connect, does not let you create a new account, is basically useless in terms of applications. It does work over Wi-Fi, so if you can do everything via the browser, then you are good. You can use YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anything that you can use the browser for absolutely works completely fine. It's just another way of going around it instead of downloading the app. Now things like the websites for YouTube on mobile actually turn into an almost app-like interface already without you needing to download another app. So actually this could come in handy, and it could be a little workaround so you cannot connect to the Google Play services. I will say that you possibly can, like Rob did. I'm going to say, just for worst case scenario, that you cannot connect to the Google Play services. If you can, then that's great. But for the most part, I cannot find any way of doing it, apart from, like I said, Rob did it, which I don't even know how he did that. Yeah, that's the one thing I have to say. One thing that's cool about this, and you could call it a con or a pro, is the fact that it uses the old SIM, so the full-size SIM instead of a nano or micro. So if you still want to use this, you're probably going to have to get an adapter or just have an old SIM. It does have micro SD expansion, and it does have a removable and replaceable battery and a removable and replaceable back, which is really, really useful, and I love phones like that. It's how Samsung was about. It was all about that removable and kind of modular setup, and it was really, really cool. It uses micro USB to charge, almost like every other phone nowadays. It has a 3.5mm headphone jack, and that's pretty much it for the ports. It, like I said, it does have micro SD expansion, and that is available via the exterior of the device, meaning that you don't have to take the back off. It's actually just a little slot on the side covered up by a little flap, and you can use your micro SD cards there. You can still buy these brand new for about £35 to £40, which is really, really cheap and good for a backup phone. It has a decent camera, that better than I was expecting. Obviously, being a Samsung device, it's pretty much going to have a good camera anyway. This pretty much beats my Nexus 4, and my Nexus 4 has better specs. So the camera is very, very good on this, and in low light, it's brilliant. Next is it's reliable and it's a solid feeling device. Now this is typical Samsung back in the day, so no metal used in the construction on the exterior of the device. It's all plastic, but it feels solid. You get no creaks, there's no kind of gaps in any of the design. It's a full-on, really well-built phone, and that is something that you want in a backup phone or a spare phone, or even a kid's phone. Now this is cool. It doesn't have multitasking in the conventional sense of the word. It has a task manager like Windows, so you can kill the tasks, you can change the task. It's some weird stuff, but I absolutely love it, and I think it's a great way to do multitasking. This also has exceptionally good battery life, just because you don't really need to use it for anything special. Some quirks about it: it has 278 megs of RAM, which is something that quite incredible. It does have a Snapdragon S1 processor and a 1350 mAh battery, which is pretty cool. Let me say something about the display now. The display is very vivid and the colors are very good, but it's a 3.5-inch display, and the resolution, now this is going to be good, 320 by 480 pixels. That's really, really low, especially even in a 3.5-inch phone. But for some reason, it feels like a really, really good display. And for, you know, it's a great backup phone. I'm going to call it a backup phone. I can call it, you know, a kid's first smartphone, something like that. It works really well. Now, obviously, you can't connect to Google Play services, like I said, and you kind of have to use the browser for everything, but it just works. It's just a solid phone. Now, this one's on Vodafone, the one I have, so I haven't been able to use it with the SIM. I actually got this a couple of days ago for free. Now, if you can either get one for free or get one really cheap, I would recommend using one as a backup phone or a kid's phone, or just a phone if you don't want to splash out the cash on a brand new one. Get one of these. It's good. The only thing, like I said, Google Play service, I think I've said that about 50 times now. Use the browser. It's a solid phone. It feels amazing in the hand. Like, it's not premium. It's not like a Nexus 4 or a Galaxy S6 Edge or anything, you know, really premium. It feels solid. It's a solid chunk of phone, and it's not even that thick. It's, you know, because it's so small, it's kind of easy to put in your pocket and forget about it. Anyway, guys, I think this gets the full thumbs up. Now, obviously, there are more problems on it than there are good things about it, but I have to give this a thumbs up just because it's lasted this long. It's running Android 2. It's running Gingerbread, and it just works. It just works. So it's got a camera on the back and not on the front, which is something else to talk about, and you can look up the specs online. I'm not going to bore you with the details. I'm just going to say this is an incredibly good phone. If you think about how old it is, you know, the fact that it was already low end, and it just works still. It's a great phone. You're just going to love it. So would not recommend this as a daily driver, but I would recommend it if you just want something simple maybe. You know, like for me, I would never go for a phone like this, but if you don't use apps and you just use it for calls and texts and maybe the odd internet browsing, use this. It just works. Costs 35 to 40 quid and it's just a bargain. So thanks for watching, guys. This has been your boy Ryan Thomas from Fail Tech. Thumbs up. See you in the next one. Peace.